Hello, fellow Hilltopians. Nice day, isn't it? I'm excited because, well, I haven't done one of these videos in a long time, a number of years, and so the garden has changed quite a bit since you've last seen it. Some of you have probably seen some pictures, but now you'll get a warts and all perspective. So obviously gardens change, they're always changing. I have not shown the front yard as much love as I'd like to. It is kind of the plan this summer too, start working more out front again. But when you see the backyard, you'll probably understand why I've been spending more time back there. It's just a very nice place. But one thing you can definitely see already in this garden is the idea of chaos gardening, which I understand is a new phenomenon or a new trend out there. I just feel like it's a simple idea that you let plants kind of take over instead of you kind of manicure everything. And that's what you'll see as you go through this property, is that there's a lot of competition between sort of invasive species, plants that do take over. There's sort of a war going on, a competition, but within it, there's sort of a nice balance. That's the idea. So the only real weed you'll see in this yard, I feel, is grass. And not the ornamental grasses, but like regular just lawn grass. That's the stuff I'm trying to get rid of. And so if you were way back when, this used to be grass, the backyard used to be nothing but grass. This whole forest is something we planted here. And so everything except for the grand fir up there, which you might see that has a Dr. Seuss looking top there, was planted by us. And there's two trees in the back, two large trees in the back that you'll also see. They're big fir and cedar. Those we did not plant. And maybe one or two rhododendrons, and that's it. Everything else is something we've introduced. So starting here, we obviously have some sumac, this is what it does. It does a great job. I love it. It's a great spice, but it does run. And so you will see that it goes. It's probably our first invasive, but that's okay, because I like what it does. And so you'll see that it transferred from all the way over there, and it will its roots will go all the way underneath the sidewalk and everything, and invade. But, you know, depending on what you want, that's okay. If you got a large property, great. Underneath here, you'll see it's primarily become a wooded area. It's very shady, and water-wise, we haven't really had to water. You saw me watering right there. I've just started having watering this week, and this is like, what, the middle of July. So in the backyard, we've been watering for a few weeks now, but in this space, it's very cool, shady, and peaceful. Although, again, not showing it much love. As you see over here, there's a lot of definition to do. The soil here is the worst. It's just bad. It's just like, it's almost like concrete. So we have to show it more love soil-wise. And then maybe we'll get a plan together. You can see that we're doing some work here. This tree actually may go. It's not a very happy tree. It doesn't grow as upright as it should for a birch. But let's move on to the main show. And I'm happy to have Camera Girl back. Camera Girl thinks that we should do some editing. I'm a warts and all kind of guy. We'll see if we can get it in one shot or not, but we'll see. We don't get to travel a lot, and so a lot of our time is spent back here, and this is a great mental health space. As you see, the crocosmias have kind of invaded everything. There's a big block of concrete here, and it kind of is invading the pathway, but it's fine. I will let it bloom. And once it's done blooming, I'll just kind of cut it down. It's not a big deal. We haven't really developed a plan for this area yet. It looks, I'm sure, a little bit different. But here again, here's Sigmund the sea monster, which is a hops, sort of taking it over. You might not be able to tell, but in order to kind of protect the fascia over here, because Sigmund would like to encompass the fascia, I kind of put together just a bunch of bamboo, put it in a post hole that I dug, and let it grow up there. Unfortunately, I got some wonderful sea lettuce from a fellow gardener out there who was nice enough to give me some, but the raccoons are trying to get the fish, and they're just shredding everything. So I can't have nice things, evidently. But that's one invasive here, right? Now this is pheasant grass. You can call this an invasive. We did plant it here, although the ones that we planted are gone, and the ones that seeded from it have found their space throughout the yard. And I think it did a nice job naturalizing into the landscape, and you'll see what I mean. If you don't like pheasant grass, it's more of an evergreen grass. You don't like it, you can just cut it down and it won't grow back. Generally it won't grow back, it doesn't like it. It just likes to stay evergreen. It doesn't necessarily transplant well either. So where it finds itself is totally, hopefully in your garden, nice area, or else cut it down. Now the biggest thing, addition to the garden this year, this is brand new, is this plant here. I got it from a neighbor 2 doors down. They call it cinnamon root. I don't believe that's its real name. I've not seen anything called cinnamon root that looks anything like this, but I love this. It grows up like it has these big banana like canna leaves. I have never seen it bloom. I do not expect it to bloom, but you're really growing it for this sort of foliage here. And again, not a plan. It's just sort of chaos, right? So I'm just putting things where they might survive. I don't want a lawn. I want to be Jungle Boy on Treasure Island. That's pretty much my feeling. This may not be a garden for everybody. I'm sure it is not. Now, one thing that's a tragedy this year is our black bamboo has gone to blossom. And so it started last year, and all bamboos, all black bamboos on the entire planet will blossom at the same time and die. And so this is what it's doing right now. It's still in the process of blossoming. It's survived a whole year. It's growing some new shoots out from the ground, but it's still in blossom. And so I don't know if you can catch that, camera girl. That's what it looks like when it blossoms. And so all around the world, black bamboos will die. And I guess rarely will they actually kind of come back. I guess they do, but we're not counting on that. So this is going to be kind of a thing what to do with. I don't know. Now, me, if I had it my way and I had a lot of money, I'd put a plunge pool right over here and a cabana right here with some solar panels on it to power the plunge pool. See, offsetting my carbon footprint. We'll come over here briefly. Here's another sort of, I don't know if it's called an invasive, but it certainly likes where it's at in my yard. This is Fuki, and it is edible. It's a Petasites plant. It definitely sort of like, it's more like a woodland shade plant, so I planted it over here. You can see it's finally filling in over here. This is the first year it's kind of doing what I wanted to do over here. Over here, we just planted a little bit and just really loved it and just went rampant. But for me, that exotic tropical feel, it does a wonderful job of this. This is like Studio Ghibli, Fuki Forest. I just love it. It's just a wonderful thing. These palms have grown up quite nicely. And for the Pacific Northwest, they're just a feature that if you want a garden to look at all exotic at all, you have to have one of these. These are the Washingtonia, I believe, type of palms. They're one of the 2 palms that will grow up here. We tried the Mexican palm, which supposedly does grow up here, but you really have to have a great spot and a great drainage for it to really thrive. It did not thrive. I have my hardy kiwi here, which I have not got it in the ground yet, because eventually over there, where we've been weaving a sort of temporary fence with some bittersweet, we're gonna have a nice new fence with some trellising, and hopefully that will grow up there, although there's a rose that will also be there as well. Now, my wife has kind of gotten some more rose bushes that she's got some ideas of where to put them. I'm not sure, but they'll be part of the landscape soon. I tend not to like roses because they're kind of, so you have to fuss over them a little bit, and obviously thorny things are no fun. But here is sort of our green room. This is where we spend a lot of our springtime. We're actually going to grow a loquat here. And this plant here is one of my favorite things, and we got to survive the winter. And this is called a hardy orchid, and I've got a few of them growing through here. I'm sorry. they survived the winter, and I haven't planted them in the ground because I don't know where. I don't want to kill them, and I'm like, well, I'm glad they survived there. I still got to figure out this. But notice this plant that's growing around the bottom here. You see, we got another cinnamon root that's doing well here. Notice this nasturtium. This nasturtium survived the winter, believe it or not. Its root is down here somewhere, and it grew all the way in here last summer, and grew there, and now it's growing up our screen door, which is amazing. I've never seen a nasturtium do that. So if you've had nasturtium stories, I'd love to see what those are. Share those. I mean, that's amazing. This is a plumbago. I don't think it's really summer until our plumbago gets rolling and has those lovely light blue blooms. This is the green room. It's just been pieced together with things. The big addition over the last year was these lovely faux Greek, I guess frescoes is what you call them. We got them from a restaurant that closed down called It's Greek to Me, and they had hundreds of these murals, and they weren't able to get rid of them. I got them to donate it to our school, but then our school didn't want them, so I'm like, okay, I'll take them off your hands. They add a nice texture. And certainly, if we don't get to go to Europe, we've only been to Europe once, it gives you sort of that old world feel, which I love. And so some of our indoor plants are outdoors now. And again, a tropical feel is what we're going for. A great garden, I think, really has sort of different spaces within it that you can explore. This is kind of a table. We never really eat here, but I should get this guy out of the way because this guy really is suffering. Anyway, we're gonna replant him. But this is sort of a different area where you can have like coffee in the morning, and again, you can just kind of enjoy the shade. The biggest thing about this yard is that this is south facing, and so the sun comes up over here, and in the evening, on a hot day, it is blocked in the evening. We have this lovely evening shade from these trees here. These are the trees that we didn't plant these, obviously, but everything else we did. This lamb's ear is a little bit out of control. It's kind of covering up the rockery, but for now we're letting it be. And I'm gonna keep it short. There's not much really to look at. But I should, this is one of my favorite plants. This is a lobelia, and I'm glad we're getting a chance to capture it before it's almost done. But I mean, just look at how amazing that is. And as you can imagine, hummingbirds are just, they love this. And hummingbirds are usually in danger here because we have 5 bats, which is an issue, obviously. I planted some licorice fern right there in the rocks. I'm hoping that kind of thrives. And one thing I just want to add a lot more to this yard is just ferns. I think ferns will make it seem more exotic and lush, even though ferns are one of that grow great in Washington State, right? And so this area here is still, we're moving back, we're moving forward, gradually taking over everything and moving away, or gradually getting the rest of the house and property to look hopefully like this. But it's a long process. And one thing that you do have to understand that the process of gardening is, it's always one of change and adaptation. And so as you see, there's these, well, first of all, there's this guy who I'm going to cut back so we can have our pathway back. This is a cardoon, which the bees love, but he's leading right into the pathway, and so he will get cut back. He's a volunteer. This garden has a lot of volunteers. But look at what that does. This is related to the artichoke and the thistle, as you can see that. It's just a beautiful plant. And again, bananas. I love letting the plants do their thing. We did not plant this. It's just kind of sat there. And I love, this is one of my favorite grasses, this again, the pheasant grass, because this hasn't even fully extended out. When it does this, which is just so loose and beautiful. And you can't probably pick it up there, but there's a little bit of sparkle to the grains. It just kind of does it so loose and wispy. But overall, that's where we're at in our status in the Hilltopia. So maybe there'll be one toward the end of the season. We kind of missed the peak lushness again, but again, it always changes, so it'll look different later. Anyway, lovely to see you all again. Have a wonderful life. A wonderful